Yo, what's up everyone, Vosk it up. This is Valoramous. In today's DJ tutorial, I'm going to discuss how to create manual loops on the DDJ-1000. So at the top of your decks, you're going to have these two orange buttons that read in and out on both decks. So decks 1 and 3 and decks 2 and 4. Now, setting manual loops will come in handy if you have tracks that are not computerized. They are not perfectly on the grid and everything is exact. Now, what type of music would this be? This is generally music recorded in the analog era before there were computers and digitization of music. So a lot of the rock music, a lot of the classic rock music, a lot of the music before the 1980s was recorded through tape and it was analog. And so a lot of this music will not have the exact same BPM throughout the track. The BPM will basically fluctuate by 1 or 2 beats per minute. And so these types of songs are prime examples for using manual loops. Now there are some modern music where this comes in handy too, especially bootlegs, tempo transitions, those special DJ mixes. You could use this technique when you use the 4-beat loop button or extend that to 8 beats or 16 beats or 2 bars or 4 bars, and it's not perfectly aligned. You can use this technique to create that manual loop that will sound like a continuous loop without a missed beat. And so rather than explaining this, I'm going to show you an example with one of my songs where you can use this technique to create a manual loop rather than using this. And you have to use your ears. This is when beat matching is very critical. It is used best for music produced in the analog era, but you can also use it for music in the digital era, just in general if you like to set manual loops. Or B, sometimes these bootleg versions of tracks or remixes may be slightly off in some cases. And I have used this for modern music when the tempo is not perfectly aligned. So first I'm going to play my track, Valoramous, the safety word Amnesia, the Valoramous Festival mix, and I'm just going to set a manual loop. Now this track was produced in a computer, so it's digital, and the beat's perfectly aligned, but for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to use the manual method for creating this 8-beat loop. That way you can understand how to use this for tracks that were recorded in the analog era without perfect beat alignment. So we're going to play from the chorus. Okay, so now we're going to set an 8-beat loop. In, out. Okay, so that is an 8-beat loop. And you don't hear an off beat, it's continuous. So that's how you know I did it correctly. If I didn't do it correctly, you'd basically have the 8-beat loop would jump and you'd have like a second kick hit, or the start of the loop would come in too early, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna bring my camera behind my computer. I'm gonna show you what this looks like now. Okay, so that is the 8-beat loop that we just created. The yellow triangle, that's the in button. That's like the initial cue point of this loop. And then the out is just right here. You don't hear any jumps. It's a perfect 8-beat loop. So let's do this. This is how you're gonna do this. You're going to count 8 beats. So let's do it. Count. That's your 8-beat loops. That's 8 beats. And that's what the loop looks like within your Rekordbox DJ software. So that's 8 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's your 8-beat loop. So you have to use your ears. This is when beat matching becomes the most critical skill for you as a DJ, is because not all your music was recorded in the digital perfect 4 to the floor. The entire track is the same tempo throughout. The beat is perfectly aligned. If you are mixing classic rock music, if you're mixing rock music from the 80s, sometimes even hip-hop music is not perfectly aligned, and this manual loop technique will come in really handy and just add another arrow in your quiver as a DJ. So there you have it. That is my tutorial on creating manual loops. If you have any other thoughts, comments, or questions, please leave those in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.